wanted to point out too, this new magazine I've made called Hookers and Hoes. It's because, I mean, what I do is I hoe and I hook. Here's my crochet. There's more crochet. It's everywhere. There's flowers and crochet around me. So if you're into both of those things, or an art lover in general, music lover, I think you'd like this magazine. Hook is for, you know, we use hooks in our work, so we're hookers, and hoes like garden hose. This is the first edition. It also comes with a CD. There are artists throughout the magazine. I mean musicians, which are artists. And anytime that they're mentioned in here, you get to read about them, and then you can go back and listen. And it also comes with, so I'm going to try to do that in each one, and also a little calendar of things to do in our city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. So if you're in Oklahoma and you buy one of these online, you'll get a calendar. If you're not in the state, I most likely won't put the calendar in it, but you will get the CD. So if you'd like the calendar of things to do, all you'd have to do is message me separate and say, hey, I'd like it, and I'll fold it up and put it in there for you. Yep, this usually comes folded. The CD will be on top, and I'll staple or tape it to the page. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I hope that, yeah, this comes with, I'll just go through the magazine too with you just real quick. So here's just an idea of what's in it. Articles on artists, different artists. And then we have sponsors, so that's awesome. Here's different articles on plants, and it's pretty much me being sassy or as fun as I feel like being. Another good sponsor. And then musicians, and all through it there's a crochet pattern I wrote, and then I have a couple that friends just I haven't even met yet, awesome crochet buddies out of town who have been a part of it. These are a couple bars, so places to get a drink at. Miss Nikki High, Route 66 stuff, more sponsorship, art buddies, places to get a little stash if you need to grab a stash, art buddy Ralph, and most of the people in here are just really awesome art buddies, so you can't go wrong with reading it because everybody's so nice in it, and I wouldn't pick an asshole to be in it. So yeah. That's another crochet pattern. So yay. And we'll have another one coming out in fall. Fall time will be the next one. I'm really excited for it because we're going to have an extra pattern in it, and an extra, at least, I'm thinking at least the extra 10 pages or more, 10 to 20 pages. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Get the magazine if you're into any of that. Yay. Alright, today I'm going to show you how I cut and dry my Liatris. There isn't much to cut, and the color is kind of fading. I haven't been out here for a little bit because it just started getting really hot to be out here, and with a few things with the pregnancy, I've been needing to stay inside a lot more. So, but I'm going to show you how I normally cut them. I usually let them get closer to the bottom, or where they start budding, where they're purple. As a few of those are left as buds. I think that's really pretty, and I let the bees love them, so I try to leave them as long as possible, but I do try to cut them before too much of it dies off, because it'll start dying off from top to bottom. So you can get some really big cuttings if you're not really worried about feeding the bees too much, but I kind of do. So this one's actually perfect because the top didn't really die off too bad, and the bottoms have just started to bud, and there's not going to be much more happening with it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. I like them anywhere from around a foot or bigger. And this one's really cool, and he looks like he's just about done. So I'm going to cut him too. He's just different. That's awesome. And then with some of these, I'll give you an example. One that's kind of dyed at the top. We could cut him, and then I'll show you what I mean. He's kind of dyed at the top, and his color's gone. So I'm just going to cut it, and then kind of round it off to where you can't really tell that I cut it, if that makes sense. There we go, and I'll show you one that got a little crispy where it's done. It's right here. These ones right here are pretty done. won't be able to cut from these, but the good thing is these things actually have seeds. They're super easy to take seeds from. Each one of those are seeds, and if you plant them, it'll take about probably 2 to 3 years to become the little bulbs. I'm sure I've done a video on that. So, well, you know what? Let's see if I can. Oh, I can't pull one up. I was gonna see if I could pull one up from this one that's kind of fallen. There's the leaves on that one. I mean the seeds. Very nice, and those are available at Seed Dealer on my Etsy too. Usually in a 100 pack, because there's so many that come off of them, and since they take so long to start producing flowers and make their bulb, when you get bang out of your buck for that one. So I'm actually going to cut some more of these too, probably this one. So I'll show you how I'm just going to cut the top. So it looks like that, and then cut it down about 1 foot. Beep. There we go. And that's another one. Then I'm going to come over here. I'm actually going to show you what I did about working on day 5, 4 or 5 now. So here's what fresh cut Liatris looks like. Here I have dried them without anything, just the cool, dry place. You can see how it keeps its color really well, and it's not going to get too much lighter than that. Like that's, it did really good drying in the cool, dry place. If you leave them outside in the hot, they're going to get like just burnt and dried out. So I just put mine usually in the kitchen. It's a cool, dry place. And then these I actually put in the silica gel here, and I'm about to take it out. I've never done them in the silica, but I thought about 5 days would be perfect. I'm just gonna take these, and the silica gets pretty stuck, so we're gonna have to shake. But I wanted to see if it makes a big difference between trying to silica them rather than just leave them air dry. Because if it does, I'd like to dry them to keep more of the color. But if not, it's super easy just to cut and dry them and not have to worry about having them covered and sitting. Okay, so here is them next to the ones that have dried naturally. I see a difference, and it's actually still kind of, maybe they need a little bit longer when they're in that silica, or maybe these couple days would be okay, or a few days would be okay to keep it in. Maybe recommend like a week and then letting it finish air drying. But honestly, I'm looking, and I don't think it makes a huge difference, especially since it's not all the way dry. So you probably have to give it at least a week in the gel to see a huge difference. But here's the fresh, the ones that's been drying for 5 days naturally, and the ones that have been in the silica gel. And I think I'm just gonna leave them out to dry the rest of the way. Hey, Sweetie Pie. Hi, Felix. But yeah, that's what it looks like and how it is to do that. Also wanted to mention, I probably wouldn't ever do the Liatris like this again, because I'm looking up close and look how much of the gel actually got stuck onto the plant. I know that can happen, especially with like roses. It'll get stuck in different crevices, but like that's a lot on the Liatris, and it might just be because it's still like a little damp and drying out. But this just seems like it's gonna be tedious to get everything out for a result that could be fine just by letting them air dry. Ooh. But yeah, Liatris has got to be one of my favorites to dry because it's just so easy and they're so pretty. So pretty, so pretty. So you guys are going to be dry soon. But yeah, so super pretty.